What's up, everybody? I'm David Hain. Welcome to episode 107 of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast. If you would like one-on-one counseling, or to launch, or perhaps join a group using these podcasts or the From Ashes to Destiny curriculum, please send me a message by email at davidfromatod@gmail.com or go to my website, www.fromatod.org, and click on the contact page. When we come back, we'll get into this episode entitled, When Addicts Won't Go to Rehab. Welcome back to episode 107 of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast entitled, When Addicts Won't Go to Rehab. This episode was the topic of a Zoom talk that I was asked to do for a Rotary Club in Gauteng, South Africa. I've decided to redo it in a shorter version for this podcast. You ready? So, when we can't understand why friends or family won't go to rehab, we fail to realize that they're not ready for that step of change in their life. And if you would like to learn more about the stages of change, listen to episode 40 of my podcasts. But for today, I'm going to outline what I've written down as 5 levels of understanding where the addict may be at in their refusal to go for treatment. The first level, level 1, I'm entitling Not on My Radar. This is when the addicts it's not even on their radar anywhere to think about treatment, to think about rehab, to think about stopping using. They're caught up physically, emotionally, there's social aspects, all parts of their life and their lifestyle that is really making decision-making impossible for them right now. They're convinced they don't need treatment. They're caught in denial, minimization, rationalization. They'll tell us they're in control, not out of control. They may be caught up with having heard the phrase, once an addict, always an addict, and convinced that they're always going to be an addict. And quite frankly, they're addicted to the lifestyle of being an addict and feeling like they found a place where they fit in. Level 2 is when we hear an addict say, I'm good, thanks. And what they're really saying is, my comforter really works. The drug of choice that I'm using does take the edge off, does provide an escape, does provide a numbing for my pain, and it works every time, as quick as sugar in tea. So don't be telling me that my drugs don't work or that they're harming me. And they'll also say, I'm good because, quite frankly, you've got good enablers in their family. They might have moms or dads who are still buying their drugs for them or giving their money or giving them a car or driving them to the dealer to buy their drugs. So as we enable, we make them feel that everything is okay. They might also be saying, you know what? I'm good because I've always been a loner. I've always been the outsider and felt like the black sheep of the family. And so I'm comfortable in this lifestyle of being an outsider as an addict. And I can live with the consequences. I'm not afraid of getting HIV. I'm not afraid of other diseases. I'm not afraid of arrest. I can live with the consequences. The third level is when the addicts are saying, been there, done that. And this is often when the addicts have been to more than one rehab, more than one treatment center, more than one psychologist or counselor. And they're saying, you know what? All of those places I went to have been an unreliable stream. I've put my hope in them because you put your hope in them and sent me there, but each time they don't understand me. And quite frankly, I don't want to fail anymore. I've always felt like I'm not good enough growing up. And so I know that I won't be good enough even if I try another rehab. And quite frankly, this fear of failure that I have is actually a fear of success, because I'm convinced I'll never be good enough. And no matter what I do, it won't please you. And then a final part of this been there, done that is saying, the scariest thing when I go to rehab is people saying I can never, ever, ever use again. And if I slip up and relapse, I'm back to square one. And that's a scary thought. Level 4 is when they're saying, why do you care? Why are you in my face right now trying to get me to even think about going to rehab? You see, there's issues in my life too. There's issues in my heart going back to my childhood. And quite frankly, what has been proven over and over again is that no one listens. No one ever wants to hear my side of the story. They just want to tell me what to do and tell me how to fix myself and tell me what I can do to earn their love again. And you know what? I'm convinced I'll never fit in. I know I don't belong, and I found a place amongst people like me. I found acceptance. I found approval. I don't have to jump through any hoops to fit into the community of people that are using like me. And you know what? Just as you're saying you care now, I'm really scared of disappointing you again. I don't want to start a rehab program and then find it's the wrong place and go through the pain that I cause you or the financial loss that I cause you. And I don't want to let God down again. I don't want to let my children down again, because every time I go for treatment, it seems like everybody else in my life who has shown they don't care actually have more hope for me coming right in their terms. So I'm really convinced that no one understands me and nobody really cares. The 5th level is there's no hope. And I guess this is when we hear the addicts say, you know what? I've hit rock bottom and I'm okay. I've hit rock bottom and I didn't break. I got stuck here, and it's just like being stuck in mud, and I'm okay. And quite frankly, it's not a pain to me to be at rock bottom. I've already lost my family. I've already lost all my money. I've lost all my possessions over and over and over again. I've heard you say, I'm not your son or your daughter anymore. And I've lost my parental rights for my own children. So really, I've got nothing to lose staying here. And I can't see that I've got anything to gain in going to rehab one more time. I don't want to start all over again. I don't want to try to dream again, because all of my dreams of my childhood have been broken. And I know I've shattered all of the dreams that you had for me. And I know I've broken dreams of many friends and family members who've sort of believed in me. And what do I do with my future now? I'm actually afraid to dream. I don't see a future that I can put my hopes in, that I can plan for. Because, as I said earlier, I feel like I'm always going to be an addict. And you know, it's okay if I die an addict. I've come to that point of realizing that this is my fate. This is my future. And I'm okay with that. Sure. So that's a quick look at 5 levels or 5 reasons that addicts struggle with when they say, I don't want to go to rehab again. I can't go one more time just to please you, Mom, or to please you, Dad, or to try to win back my children or any of those things. I can't see returning back into normal society with a 9-to-5 job. I can't see myself getting to that point where I'm paying bills again and I've got my own flat and I've got a car and I've got all this stuff and I look like everybody else, because I really don't feel like everybody else. I hope you understand, but I just can't go to rehab again. Thanks for listening to this episode of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like it, subscribe, follow, and share the link with your friends, or click on the support link in this episode's description. Your donation of any amount could change a life. If you would like to share any feedback, please message me on the link in this podcast or by email at davidfromatod@gmail.com, or go to my website, www.fromatod.org, and click on the contact page. You can keep in touch with what we're doing in From A to D by following me on Instagram at David From A to D. Tune in Monday for our next episode, and as always, stay safe and stay strong.